So you want to know if I have ever noticed that by the time a mother's abuse becomes news, she was already arrested about half a dozen times before that. Hell, even before they actually get arrested, they're probably getting called to the house by the kids left and right, and they just leave the mother and let her go on about her business of abusing the kid. But now that you mention it, a very popular TikToker did recently do a video about a mother and female therapist who were getting away with abuse for years and years and years before it became news, so I'm gonna go ahead and play it now.
This nice Mormon family, they have 6 kids, they decide to become family vloggers. So they film all these wholesome vlogs with the whole family and they get really popular on YouTube. But then, people started to notice they had a really harsh parenting style. Like sometimes the mom would withhold food as punishment.
I'm only gonna say it one more time, and then you're gonna lose the privilege to eat dinner.
She also took away her son's bed as punishment.
The bedroom was taken away for 7 months, and then you give it back like a couple weeks ago.
And then one night, their neighbors get a knock at the door, and they answer it, and it's one of the kids from the vlogger family. And he's 12, and he had duct tape on his hands and feet where he had been tied up. He also had open wounds, and he was severely malnourished. The boy had been tied up by his own mother, the family vlogger, and her business partner. And he was able to escape by climbing out a window and running to the neighbor's house where he asked for food and water. So the neighbor immediately called the police.
The 12-year-old male showed up with tape around his legs Thursday asking for help, said he was afraid asking for police.
So the police show up, and they find 2 other kids in the home the boy escaped from. They were his sisters. The youngest sister was 10, and she was also severely malnourished. So the police throw the mom and the business partner in jail. Like straight to jail. They got no bail. And they charged him with 6 counts of aggravated child abuse. And fun fact, the business partner here is also a licensed therapist. So that's nice. But here's what's crazier. The 2 arrested women are business partners, right? You want to know what their business is? And I'm not making this up. They run an organization where they give people parenting advice. What the shit? So this story blows up, and it's everywhere, and YouTube immediately permabans any YouTube channel having to do with the family. They even made an official statement, which is crazy. But then the family's oldest daughter, remember they had 6 kids, and she's 20 years old, and she allegedly cut off contact with her parents last year. So she posts on her Instagram a photo of a police car outside a house with the caption, "Finally." And she writes another post about how they've been trying to tell police and CPS about this behavior for years.
So yeah, the worst part about all that is that kind of situation is something that the manosphere is constantly talking about. And everybody hates us for this. Everything from the fact that CPS and the police are constantly letting mothers and abusive women in general get away with all this behavior, and that therapists and mental health professionals are often encouraging and enabling toxic and abusive women, is something that we are always talking about on this side of TikTok. And everybody calls us sexist for calling a spade a spade. Seriously, what all these third wave feminists hate about us the most is that we're pointing out the obvious fact to anyone who's been on the receiving end of this type of abuse. If police and the courts held women to the exact same standard as men, they would probably eclipse men in terms of violent crime.